I know a lot of people like to do meditation as a way to come into their own center and into their energy. Mine is movement because it erases time. And when you're moving, it's like a moving meditation. And the mind is no longer the master. You are just in pure presence. You're just feeling space, spaciousness. You're feeling the rhythm. You're feeling yourself. You're feeling your heart song. And I've had so many things revealed to me in the embodiment form of movement.
Well, welcome, Julie. I am so grateful that you are here with me today, and I am so excited for our interview together. Please welcome Julie Kouyate. She is an incredible alternate healer and wellness and has been doing this for over 20 years. Her skills and toolbox have grown sharper and more developed over time, and she is such a gift to the world. Her healing work involves eye-to-eye contact and heart-to-heart contact that allows people to open up to their experiences and allows her to deepen into those experiences with them. Her passion is in taking a person who feels defeated by life and its wild circumstances into total peace. They are then reminded of the moment and the sacredness of nature. She originally got her degree from Irene's Myomassology Institute, such a tongue twister. And she has also received her master coach certification through the Body Mind Coaching with co-founder Laura Wick. She also currently runs destination and local goddess retreats throughout her hometown and abroad. And she also has portable play shops. Welcome, Julie. I'm so happy you're here.
Hi, Cody. There was a little lag there in the connection, but I am really, really pleased to be here. Thank you for having me on. And I can't wait to dive in with you.
Yes. So this week, I really wanted to focus on, I know a big part of what you do in your practice is connect women in these goddess retreats to dance and singing.
So in our sacred nature as women, we were one. We were one unit. I don't care where you come from in any part of this God's green earth, you were from some sort of tribal experience. That experience, the women found together as one to raise our children and to take care of our foods and direct and guide the young ones and each other. We had a support system, an upliftment system, and all of it involved working, but it also involved rhythm, song, and movement. There's not one culture that you can pull up that didn't have some sort of their own rhythm with their own song and their own dance. So I like to bring back the sacred circle of sisterhood, and through song and uniting as one, that is a really potent and powerful medicine in our times today.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. So, a big part of what you just shared was that in all cultures, there is some form of singing and dancing that is incorporated into the culture itself. So, ultimately, in your retreats, how do you incorporate the singing and the dancing as a form of the healing with the women?
Yeah, so when we come together, what we find is that so many women are really blocked in the way of allowing expression to come through. That is societal. It's not really our fault. We have been taught to be homogenized, I guess you could say, in how we look. And, you go to all the big box stores and all the clothes are really similar. And you're supposed to have the same degrees and you go into little sections of life, but it's never really budding from within where you kind of get to just feel what comes out. So part of the whole healing process is understanding what's in there, understanding why it's been, what is it that's blocking that true expression, that true fragrance that is you from coming out. So, for example, if I just go with movement, we're gonna be free in the movement. We're gonna just feel what it feels like to move with the different elements to start with. We're gonna isolate different parts of the body because I can't tell you how many women are really just don't feel, number one, safe with moving in a sensual manner because we are feminine bodies. The way we just walk has some kind of way and lusciousness, and we ooze beauty, but we've been taught to kind of contain it and box it and frame it. And so when we start isolating different parts of the body, like, oh, you can just move your rib cage. Oh, this is heart chakra work. Or you start to move your hips. I find a lot of women start to feel, unless you've taken Latin or West African or hip hop or stuff, a lot of women feel almost like this silly childlike giggly girl bubbling up from her sacrum, and it's so beautiful to watch because I remember the first time I ever was in a class where we're on all hands and knees, and it was totally okay in front of all the drummers, in front of all the community watching. We're on hands and knees and we're just boom, doom, doom, doom. We're doing the thing. And I remember looking at my friend going, oh my God, is this even okay? Is this right? Is this wrong? What are we doing? Like, and then getting into your center with it and just knowing like that is a primal energy that women possess, and it's okay, it's not wrong. So this is a big unwinding for a lot of women, and so we go through that movement process of just feeling the elements, but we also isolate the body, and then we actually go into some really formulated movement so they can feel what dancing that way feels like in time, in rhythm. Because the other stuff is kind of free flowing. You do whatever you feel. Like I talked about that rose. What does your expression look like? It should not look like everybody else's. And then we try to bring it in and like teach some specific movements that really have a relationship with the rhythmic thing that's happening with the drummers.
That sounds incredible. Like just the way I know for myself, moving my body helps me move like the energy within myself. So I can absolutely see how for women that sense of movement and connecting to their body maybe is like the first time that they've ever really connected with themselves.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's truly my favorite embodiment practice. I know a lot of people like to do meditation as a way to come into their own center and into their energy. Mine is movement because it erases time, and when you're moving, it's like a moving meditation, and the mind is no longer the master. You are just in pure presence. You're just feeling space, spaciousness. You're feeling the rhythm. You're feeling yourself. You're feeling your heart song. And I've had so many things revealed to me in the embodiment form of movement.
I love how you said that it basically like it eliminates that mind as the master component and really allows you to drop into. And I know for a fact that like sometimes people struggle with meditation and it's not the only answer for really coming into your body. But how do you find that being in your body or having body be a part of the conversation helps people either heal or helps women connect to wisdom that is within them?
Yeah, so I think that just the nature of connecting with yourself is healing altogether, like you're saying. Movement is reflects the great mother because all of, like right now I've got this phone hooked up to a tree and there's a little bit of a slight breeze, and so there's movement. So we have that as our basis. So when you can feel that way, and I think a big thing, Cody, is the non-judgment of what comes through, because the blocking is what's the problem, and the inability to express what it is inside of us without judging what it looks like. Many of us think we have to be a dancer who's learned the steps, or I can't tell you how many times, and you're an artist, you probably hear it all the time. I'm not an artist. I can't do that. And I hear that with song and dance, like I don't sing or I don't dance. I have no rhythm. And I'm like, look, do you have a heartbeat, baby? They say, well, yeah. And I'm like, well, then you've got the rhythm, you've got time. So what do you want to do with it? So the healing element, I think, is just exposing that deeper pearl, that hidden pearl, that for so long, the Puritan movement, right? Where you dress in really big clothes and your servitude to God, which is beautiful. I'm a servitude to God, but I choose to express it in a very boldly feminine beauty.
Yeah, that Puritan way was a little bit more staunch, a little bit.
So you say.
Right. It was like a little more stoic, maybe, or meant to be.
Yes. So like you say, like this, that's what I feel like they did to our hips. I feel like they locked them down. Of course we allowed it. You can't have anybody do something to you unless you allow it. So um, you know, we allowed it, and we are unbottling now. We are in the process of revealing. And through our healing, if we heal ourselves, then our daughters and our nieces and all the who are watching us can actually feel free to be beautiful in her own way. And if we can do that and we uplift the movement of sisterhood, we uplift each other, because the whole idea of being the best or having a lot of jealousy towards another woman who's very, very beautiful or who's very talented or who's ahead of us or whatever, that is the thing that's actually causing the problem. So coming in my retreats, we return to the circle where we support each other. I will hear you, Cody, in all of your thing, and you will give your testimony, and I will bear witness. And because that happens, you feel safe within the circle. And then we lift you up together, and then we sing. Then we sing. Once women share, that's like, that is a healing energy of its own, because you feel safe to share.
Yes, absolutely. I really love how you help women really connect in with their bodies and then really look at and I almost hear like question or surrender the judgment of the self against how we can't do something or how we're incapable of doing something. And that also invites us to release judgment of other women as we then step into a space of being heard and being seen in a kind of group atmosphere, and that invites us to you also invite the women into sharing a part of who they are and a part of themselves at these retreats, and then you move that into singing. So tell me more about how does the singing help awaken the inner woman, and how does maybe the singing help someone connect with the wisdom that's within themselves?
Song has potential to release a lot of endorphins, serotonin, oxytocin. When you unite as one in a song, there is an overall sense of wellness. There's an overall sense of unity. And we have to have that. The age of self, or the age of independence, where I think the Industrial Revolution was like terrible for women in sisterhood, because everyone had to be in their own house, and they had to buy their own stove and make their own meals, and it separated us out. And then it rose to a new age of, like, I think that competition that we're talking about, and jealousy and judgment. But when you unite your voices as one, there's actually studies about what happens inside of your body and how you feel unified to the whole, not just the circle of sisters that you have there now, but then we're talking about the ancestral circle and the universal, and you're going farther and farther out to connect to sources that we can't even really understand, but that we might just call source or God. So that's divine. That is completely divine. And when you're harmonized and you have somebody who can make sure you're in the right harmony and teach you songs that actually have healing words to it, not just like a little campfire song that's cutesy and fun, but like actually empowerment, goddess empowerment, healing songs, where you actually sit there and you could sing for hours and start swaying, and like all these endorphins are just dripping, and you're drenching with healing and happiness.
Oh my goodness, that sounds amazing. So, what is your background with singing and dance, and how have you kind of come to a place where you started to create goddess retreats and play shops and, incorporate it into your coaching? Like, what has been your journey with singing and dance?
Yeah, that's a good question. So when I was a baby girl, I would sing to source. I would sing to God. I would open my arms up. I'd go out in the rain and I'd open my arms up and I'd have a whole story to share. And I knew that was prayer time for me. Straight up. I went to different places with my parents and God love them. I did not find that connection as I found when I would just walk out and be in the elements and put my hands up and sing. So singing for me was a big thing, but in our society, too much is too much. So I was told I was too much, not by just my family, but and they're like, you can't do that. And I'd sing at the grocery store, and guess what? You can't do that. So pretty soon it got like most of us, and that's why finding it again is phenomenal, because if you can talk, you can sing. If you do talk, you should sing, right? Kind of thing. So, and then I met my husband, and he was a musician, and he really like brought it out, heart pounding and all. He would tell me, sing me something. And I was like, the door was opened again. And I was like, somebody wants me to sing. It was the invitation, right? um, so here I was singing and creating songs, and it came like that. It came back like that. So him and I have songs together that we do. We performed a bit together, and so then I just have the circle of sisters like here. Somehow I bumped into all these women who we found each other on song and dance. So when we get together, we're like screaming over each other who's gonna share the next song, or who's gonna lead the next song, right? Or teach the next song, or we're gonna do this one or that one.
I love that.
So that's my history with song. And my history with dance is kind of a long one as well. I mean, I used to turn on Soul Train, and I had to imitate everything I saw. Yeah, I was just shaking, and it made me feel like it's embodied joy, right? You're all about like living joy, and I feel embodied joy when I'm either singing or dancing. So when I was little, I'd dance, I'd create routines out in the sprinkler with chairs and just do all kinds of things. But then it got formulated in the high schools and the dance troupe, and I learned a lot about time there, because you have to do stumping and running all the same time and all kinds of crazy stuff. So I learned a lot of ways to use my body at that point. But then I went into, when I got older and I wanted it to just be free, I heard about drum circles. And when I first found it, I was like, oh, okay, this is home, right? So I could just go there and dance for 4 hours straight in a non-judgment space, and it's a real healing. Then I learned that those drums in there are specifically tied back to a certain culture and heritage, and that's West African. And then I went into studying the West African, specifically Guinea, West Africa. And there's all kinds of rhythms that associate with different dances for different reasons, for harvesting, everything you can imagine in life. There's a dance for it in that culture, with the Guinean culture. So I studied that for nearly 20 years, and that's like my real passion. But now I've come back from that going, well, I want more of like the just free embodiment stuff, and how do you help women to just kind of discover that?
Yeah, wow, that's really powerful and such an incredible journey of just exploring singing and dance. I totally understand that singing as a child, because I'm pretty sure growing up, my entire life was a musical. Like it was so funny. Like I would, again, sing at the grocery store. I would sing, outside. And I remember we were moving to a new house and I was singing about us living in a new home. It was so much fun.
That's awesome, Cody. I didn't know we had that in common. Like, we should come up with a musical. Yeah.
We should
got it feeling luscious.
Yeah. Heal it through musical life living. I know a little bit of your background is also doing the massage and coaching. So tell me a little bit about how that has come to you. And so we can kind of see, how did you end up where you are today?
I was going to be a physical therapist, and I went to school for 1 year. And I was in school, and I had this huge awareness. I saw everybody walking to the same classes and eating the same food, and I was like, "Holy mother, this is this homogenized thing that I'm saying. I don't know if I want to do this. I don't want to know everything everybody knows. I want to know something different." So I quit. I quit college, and I got a backpack and a drum, and I moved to Hawaii. And I had no plan, and I had no money, and off I went. It was awesome. It was the best experience I've ever had. And I lived on the beaches, and lo and behold, when the rains were coming in, somebody'd say, "Hey, you want to sleep under our deck?" Or there'd be like this makeshift little shelter somewhere, and we're like, "Oh my gosh, look at!" And you could eat the jackfruit. Jackfruit's like potatoes, so there's starch and protein in it. You could pull a jackfruit off the tree, start a fire, you throw it on the fire, and then you just open it up and scoop it out. There was avocados and guavas, and cocoa water. Even if you didn't have your water, you could drink water with the cocoa water. So I was there for 6 months living on beaches, and almost the last week or 2 weeks maybe, there was a woman on the beach, and I didn't know her. And we are like waiting for somebody. And she comes over to me, who's just doing nothing, just laying on the beach, because here I was living on the beach. And she was like, "Hey, my friend didn't show up, and I'm supposed to practice my massage for tomorrow's class. Can I practice on you?" And I was like, "Yeah." So she did a massage on me. And I was like, "Oh my God," because I wanted to be a physical therapist. And I'm like, "That's it right there. Whatever she just did to me, that's it." And I said, "Can I go to your school with you tomorrow?" And she said, "Sure." And in Hawaii, you got to hitchhike. So we caught a ride on a couple motorcycles, and it's on the other side of the island, which is like a couple-hour ride. And I walked into that place, and the smell, the sound, the way people approached you, and the energy of this soft tenderness and healing energy. I was like, "That's it." And I went home immediately and enrolled in Irene Smile Massology Institute. And there I specialized in deep tissue for many, many years. I've been doing massage for 20 years. Specialized in deep tissue, but also do Reiki and just intuitive body work. Um, I've now kind of moved into more of a softer approach in the last 5 or 8 years, because the lifespan of massage therapist, they say, is 10 years, and I can see why, especially if you do deep tissue. Yeah.
That is incredible. Oh my gosh. I didn't know that story about you living in Hawaii, living off of the beach, but now so much makes more sense. Like, you just being a huge beach bum is kind of the coolest thing in the world to me. Like, so awesome. But I also love how you were doing the massage for 20 years and the same studying over a period of time of dance and of course, the inner side of you with the singing. So what led you then to do the body mind coaching?
Well, I was looking for something else. My body couldn't maintain just like doing quick fixes for anybody anymore. And you know this, Cody, because we're both in the same coaching industry here. Massage is beautiful. I am not taking away the value of the wellness experience you have when you get in that room and get down, just calm down into sacred space, and like you can feel again and slow again. But I've seen people for 20 years, regular clients. Some of those issues that they come to me kind of get better, but it's kind of like, remember the old shoulder? Yeah, my huge, you know. And so when Laura Wick had some of her webinars out there, and she talked about that, she spoke directly to my soul when she talked about, are you sending your clients off, and are they coming back with the same pain and frustration? So what is that? That really struck a chord in me. I knew I wanted to do something different, but in the healing industry, because I can't move away from that now. That's just who I am and what I know. So this for me was like, oh, coaching. Why? Because I coach people a half hour before they get on the table and a half hour after, Cody?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we're already coaching naturally, but to understand how it really works and how you can take someone through a transformational process where perhaps some of those things that were there with them for 20 years actually starts to dissipate. And I'll give you one quick example. I have a body mind coach client, and she's a nurse, and she has chronic shoulder pain. I had not seen her before she came to me straight for a referral for body mind coaching, not just massage, but body mind coaching. And through our process together, it's well understood that she was in her job position, she was taking on the job of 7 or 8 other people. Why? Because there was a lot of reasons why, and we can go into those. I probably won't go into the reasons why, but I will say, because she's changed some of the ways she works with her coworkers, and her stepping up to saying, actually, I am hungry. I think I will take the first lunch and not the last one. Matter. And her shoulder pain never had to be massaged, like not one.
That's amazing. That's absolutely incredible. So I feel like a lot of this has come together with the massage and with you already doing this coaching work and also with the dancing and the singing. It has come together in a beautiful way with these retreats and these play shops. You've mentioned a little bit about the goddess retreats, but tell us a little bit more. Like what is that about, the play shops and the retreats?
Okay, I love this. Makes me so excited because I realized that I have all these things to share, yet I was only sharing the one thing in the massage room. The retreat, it's a whole experience of wellness. So we've crafted this amazing time where you go through all kinds of embodiment work. And you have a time when you come together without distractions. So retreating is very important because you cannot have distraction to be able to unleash or unearth basically some of the old programming and structures that surround the problems that keep coming up in your life. You have to move away from them. And if you move away from them for 3 days at my local retreat in Ann Arbor, or if you move away from them for 6 days or 7 days at one of my destination retreats, like this year, we're having a big SIR retreat in February for 6 days. And I'm so excited because we've witnessed what happens when women come away from their duties. We are so good at handling everything. But when you have to handle nothing and you have a wellness experience that's crafted for your healing purposes, all the things that can fruit are amazing. I mean, just number one is feeling rested, right? And rejuvenated. And we treat our women like total queens. Like we have chocolates everywhere, and we make organic foods, and we have fresh options, and we have like nice hot soup options, and we have, we do waters and teas all day long. So, and then having time to really come into your presence and get embodied. So we have sound bath healing experiences, yoga, tai chi. Play shop is there. I'll go into play shops in a minute about that. My co-retreat leader, Dory Edwards, she's my best friend, and she has manifested many businesses. Like, she came from nothing. She was a Waldorf educator, and then she has now several businesses that are thriving because she does work with money blocks, and she works with her theta waves, and she's crafted a play shop called Inner Vision Boarding Play Shop. And vision boards are the things that you create with all your manifestation hopes.
Yeah.
But this is the way you do it, where you actually are guided through meditations to imagine it within yourself and in your body. And the retreat just has so many goodies, including ceremony. My purification ceremony is part of all of the retreats. I have several different ceremonies that we use. We can use a fire, we can use a water ceremony. And basically, again, that's having reverence for the elements, coming together in circle as sisters. Um, a lot of times it's about really understanding what it is that you want to dissolve, release, things that no longer serve you. And that's a sharing process. Ceremonies have a sharing process, and that's a really important part of a ceremony. But, you have the elements, and you always have song, and you always have, we anoint each other's chakras, and we give well wishes to our sisters next to us, and we pass along in the circle like that. So the retreats are a really good opportunity. We do a lot of journaling as well. We do a lot of journaling prompts. So there's, again, more things are unearthed. And the biggest thing I think is that you feel new. You do. You feel different. My first retreat, actually, and I can't believe this, was when I went to the Body, Mind, Live retreat. And I really thought I couldn't go because I didn't think my family would be able to do okay without me. And the funny thing is when I got home, they said, "When's your next retreat?" Because they liked me better. They liked me better. And that's the thing. So because we're so busy, we're not programmed to be that way. We're supposed to come down.
Yeah.
We're supposed to come down. And that's our opportunities to be embodied in joy. You have quiet time there where you can do your yoga by yourself, but then you have ecstatic time where you're like in song and dance with your sisters. So there's just all the emotions are going on in the retreats. Now, the play shops are little snippets of the retreats, 2-hour to 3-hour bites. So I can take my freedom of expression play shop, which includes like a female drummer and myself. We uncover all the reasons why you are blocked from your expression, like we had talked about way earlier in the interview. And we actually, once they're uncovered, women get like really like empowered to like, when they once thought, I don't move, I don't dance, I'm not sexy, I'm not beautiful, I can't move like that. All the things, like they're watching me, all the things, once they find out why they're blocking themselves and that gets exposed, they're like, move over, hold my tea, right? And then they're doing stuff that they're doing stuff that they never thought possible. And you see them and they're lit up with joy. And something comes out of them that they didn't even realize was possible. And so that's my freedom of expression play shop. And I have a couple others that they're portable. So, I can bring them to any city as long as whoever wants to bring me is ready to bring me.
Right. I love that. Hold my tea. So tell me, how would you encourage our listeners or anyone listening to this podcast or anyone listening to this video, how would you encourage them to cultivate like more connecting with their own inner wisdom?
Well, I like to talk about setting intention, and a single candle can be a very good start. A lot of us aren't setting aside some intentional time. And what gets revealed in that time, I think, is really, really important. So to connect with that is just to light a candle and have quietness and eliminate distractions. And I know people try to meditate, and that actually might be really hard to do because it's a practice, number one. But setting some intentional time, like most of my friends, their meditation is they set the intention, they set the candle, and they'll put mood music on, and they'll just move and be alone in a room and move and feel. And then, if there's grief within you, if there's anger within you, movement can really shift the heaviness and the weight of any of those feelings. So empowering and encouraging other women to start to do that, start to move and see what it feels like. One of my coaching clients recently, it came around in our conversation that she really needed to just stomp her feet, which sounds really kind of funny or silly, but tribally, like the natives would stomp. any native of any culture and indigenous culture would have, the rhythm is not just played by the drummers, but you stomp, and that's the way you connect with your earth. That's the way you feel something deeper beneath you, right? And so her hope for herself was that she could light that candle, shut off the lights, and just kind of like sway and then stomp a little bit and not worry about if there was a rhythm to it or if there was a rhyme or reason. None of it. Just see where it took her. So I get to find out like next week when we meet again together how that felt for her and where that took her. And that, Lord knows, I know it took her to her source directly. I know that. And then the other thing is vocal attunement. When we feel unempowered, it's a great idea to turn off the music, because music is beautiful and it should be utilized. But when you want to get to your purpose, your center, it's time to turn off what you're hearing, because they are providing you with a mood and an atmosphere of what they're feeling.
Yeah.
So for us, we need to just, yes, like oming. Like if you oming, you don't have to know how to do it. You just, like for me, if I'm in the shower and I know one of my 5 children are knocking at the door and it's my only time alone, and I sit down on the floor, so I'm not standing anymore, and I just vocalize. I just sometimes it's higher, sometimes I do sometimes I go really low, and then that can feed in some creative play. Like if you're open enough and you don't try to judge it, what's coming through, you might find that words start to come. And sometimes those words are a total reflection of what that you want to release. Sometimes the healing words that come through are like, wow, right? And then they can release you, can release the emotion.
I love that. I absolutely love that advice that you give, to just have people take intention, take some time to just be with themselves. And I love how you include that, like, that can look like a room with a candle, or it can look like sitting down in your, shower in the early morning. Like, either one is perfectly fine. I'm sure it could also be like your car or whatever, but a place that you feel like you can just move, or you can vocalize, and you can, kind of allow yourself to be seen and heard by your own self. And I also love what you said about activating the voice is really about quieting the noise around you, so that you can really allow yourself to hear your own self.
Yeah, that's a good reflection. I'm glad you heard all that in what I said.
So tell us a little bit. This has been such an amazing interview. Like, I love everything about it. And I'm so grateful to have you here. But I want everyone to know about your retreats and about where they can find you. So can you please give us your website, your Instagram or Facebook handle, and maybe a little bit a plug for your retreats if you want?
I would love to. Thank you, Cody, for the opportunity to allow me to have women find this if they need to find this. So I have my website. It's www.kouyatehealingart, which is KOUYATE healingarts.com. What I'm doing is sending people to my Facebook page for the retreats. That is Facebook page called Purposeful Pivot Goddess Retreats. The local retreats are in Ann Arbor, and they're held in September in Ann Arbor on a 36-acre farm. And the Big Sur retreat is taking place February 4th through the 10th. And it's on a private homestead on lots of acres on the bluff overlooking Pfeiffer Beach. And there's tiny houses on it, and there's outdoor shower facilities. We have private hiking trails, and it'll be over the full moon, which is something that we planned and we are really excited about.
I am so excited about that too. It sounds absolutely amazing. And I will make sure that I have all the details for the retreats in the show notes, and so that we can everyone can connect with you, because I think what you have to give to this world in movement, in non judgment, in coming down into the body, grounding down into who we are, in using our voice to express ourselves is just such a gift to this world. So, thank you, Julie, for doing the work that you are doing. It is so powerful.
Thank you, Cody. You are beautiful for having me on, and it's been such a pleasure to talk with you about everything that I'm up to. And I can't wait to get you on an interview with me so that the world is more exposed to your genius.
Woohoo! Yeah. All right, cool. So that's a wrap.